So step one when you're factoring a trinomial is to make sure it's in what we call standard form, okay? That means you have a squared variable, a variable without a square on it, just a regular first power, and then a constant, okay? That's what you want to make sure. Now, next thing you want to make sure of today is that the coefficient in front of the squared term is a 1. So is there anything in front of this b squared that isn't? Yeah, so it's just a 1. So here's what you do once you've identified those things. You're going to look for factors of whatever this term is that add up to this term. So what are two numbers that multiply to give you 7? 7 and 1, right? And also, wouldn't negative 7 times negative 1 also give me a positive 7? So those are really the only two factors of 7 because 7 is a prime number, right? So which of these two sets add up to 8? 1 and 7 or negative 1 and negative 7 add up to a positive 8? The first one. So here's what you do. You draw two sets of parentheses. You put whatever your letter is in here. So if it's a B, you put a B. If it's an X, you put an X. And then you're going to put in whatever those two factors are that you just determined. Plus 1 and plus 7, because they're both positive. Okay? And that's your final answer. Now, I'm going to show you how to check your work real quick. Do you guys remember the little box method? Do you remember doing this at all?
Yeah.
So you're going to draw a little box, and you're going to put B plus 1 and B plus 7 on the other side, and then you're going to multiply the corners. What's B times B?
B squared.
Good. What's B times 1?
B.
B times 7?
7.
And 7 times 1?
7.
Good. Now what you're going to notice is these two are going to be like terms. So what's 7b plus b?
8.
Good. So you got b squared plus 8b plus 7. What do you notice when you multiply those two together? What do you notice when you multiply these two together? What do you get? You get what you started with, right?
Yeah.
So that's a way to check your work and verify that you've done it correctly. All right? Do you guys want me to do a few more with you guys before you're ready to try it on your own?
Yeah.
All right. That was a really easy one. So instead of doing number 2, because number 2 is also on the easier side, I'm going to go ahead and do number 3. Okay? Number 3 is a little harder. So number 3 is m squared plus m minus 90. Now we want to make sure it's in standard form, which it is. There's just a 1 here, which it is. Also remember, we're always looking for factors of this term that add up to this term. What is this term since it's not written? 1. It's an implied 1, so you're going to put a 1 in there, okay? Now we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give me negative 90, but add up to positive 1. Any ideas of two numbers that multiply to give you regular 90? Let's go ahead and name a few numbers. 9 times 10. So 9 times 10 would give me positive 90. So to get a negative 90, I need a negative times positive, right? So what about negative 10 times positive 9 and negative 9 times positive 10? Won't those both multiply to give me negative 90?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's more factors that we could list out, right? We could say negative 2 times positive 45. You could say negative 45 times positive 2, and you could go on and on with the list. But I think we have the one we need. We're looking for one that adds up to a positive 1. And which of these pairs adds up to a positive 1? First, second, third, or fourth? The second one. It adds up to a positive 1 because 10 plus negative 9 is like 10 minus 9, which is positive 1. So those are going to be your two factors. Okay? So it's going to be m minus 9 and m plus 10. Now, a lot of people always ask me, would it also be correct if I wrote m plus 10 times m minus 9? And the answer is yes, because multiplication is commutative, meaning you could do 4 times 5 or 5 times 4. It's the same thing. So either of these are correct answers. Okay? So do you guys have a general idea of what you're trying to do now?
Yeah.
All right, so the rest of the period, I want you to work through these. Okay, there's a front and a back. I know it looks really long. But I want you guys to try to get to number 14 because those are the ones you know how to do so far. Okay, so you're going to try to get to 14 today, and then tomorrow or later, today if we have time, we'll go 15 to 26. All right, so 1 through 14 is what you guys are going to try right now.